Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tom's Gadget Garage. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full end-to-end review of the Ausom Leopard Electric scooter. Now, at the end of last year, I did do an entire review series on the Leopard's bigger brother, the Ausom Gallop, and after an overwhelmingly positive experience with that scooter, I went ahead and reached out to Ausom asking if they'd be open to me reviewing their smaller scooter, the Ausom Leopard. And here we are, 2 months later, ready to go over the pros, the cons, and whether or not this scooter is worth the ultra competitive price tag. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is jump into the unboxing and assembly experience, then we'll take a closer look at some of the features on the Ausom Leopard, then we're going to jump straight into our end-to-end testing, which includes a hill climb test, a range test, a speed and acceleration test, brake test, suspension test, the whole 9 yards. So without further delay, let's jump into the details. The Ausom Leopard arrived at my doorstep in fantastic condition. There were no dings, dents, scratches, scuffs, or anything like that. Ausom generally does a very good job at packing their scooters. Just a little warning, they do use that kind of white foam that explodes all over the place. So when unboxing this scooter, definitely make sure you have a vacuum ready to go. In terms of assembly, it's really quite simple. All you have to do is take the scooter out of the box, extend the stem, lock it into place, and then attach the handlebars with 4 hex screws, and that's it. It doesn't get really any simpler than that. Shouldn't take you more than 5 to 10 minutes to get this thing fully assembled. Now, once you have everything put together, you'll want to make sure you fully charge the battery, and of course, don't forget to inflate those tires. Ausom does recommend 32 PSI for the Leopard. So there's the Ausom Leopard in all of its glory. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take you through a detailed walkthrough. We'll start in the back, we'll work our way forward, and then up top to the handlebars. So at the back of the scooter, we have our pre-installed rear fender, which is really nice. It's made out of a plastic material. This will help keep all the dirt and grime off of you as you're riding. Here we've got our 10 by 3.15 inch hybrid pneumatic tires, which if you're going to be riding on and off the beaten path, these are really good options to have. So nice that they equip this scooter with the hybrid tires. One thing to mention about the wheel assembly here is that it does have split rims, which means that, you know, if you get a flat tire, changing out that flat is going to be much easier than a scooter that doesn't have split rims. So really nice touch to have that on this rear wheel. Within the wheel assembly is our 1,000-watt motor. It does operate off of a 48-volt system. Another thing to mention about this rear motor is that it is capable of cranking out upwards of 25 Newton meters of torque. So it's a pretty decent amount of torque. It's not, you know, groundbreaking or anything like that, but it should be more than enough to get you up some moderate hills. Here we've got our 5.5 inch or 140 millimeter rear discs, which is really nice because I do prefer disc brakes on a scooter, especially scooters over 60 pounds, because they do give you significantly more stopping power. Now, one thing to call out about the brakes on this scooter is that they are not hydraulic, they are manual brakes, so we'll definitely be putting those to the test. As we work our way forward, we do have our really robust swing arm assembly, which attaches to the rear coil spring on this scooter. So it does have full suspension front and back, and you do have some level of adjustment here in terms of how firm or soft you want that ride to be. And back here under the kick plate, we also have a tail light and brake light combo, which is really bright at night. I'll definitely show you that here later on in the video. Back here we do have our rear kick plate, which is really nice to see on a scooter like this. It is covered in a very nice rubber material, so very grippy, and this is going to be especially important when you're accelerating heavily. On these types of scooters, I definitely ride with a rear foot on the kick plate, so nice to see one that's fully functional. Working our way forward, we do have some lighting here on the sides, which definitely helps with nighttime visibility. These also double as rear turn signals. Here we've got our deck, so plenty of room here to position your feet however you want, you know, one in front of the other, and of course we've got that rear kick plate. Looking at the kickstand assembly on this scooter, it is really robust, so it's not, you know, some of the, you know, smaller, flimsy, cheap kickstands that we sometimes see. This one's definitely heavy duty. And then of course we've got some reflectors here up front to also help with nighttime visibility. Now over here you also have some front turn signals, and when the turn signals are off, these are also running lights when you have the main headlights and tail lights enabled. Here we've got our charging ports. When it comes time to charge this thing up, you just lift up this spring-loaded door, plug in your charger, and you're good to go. The charger that comes with this scooter is a 2-amp charger, so it's going to take about 10 hours to fully charge this 20.8 amp hour battery. So total with the 48 volt system, you're looking at about 998 watt hours. Looking at the supports here, when I first saw pictures of this scooter, I was a little skeptical as to how strong these actually were, but turns out they are very hardened metal. I can't even bend these things, so plenty of support for the front part of the scooter here. As we work our way further forward, we do have our front swing arm assembly as well as our front coil, so that'll help dampen any lumps and bumps that you have in the road. We've got our front plastic fender assembly installed here, and then of course that 140 millimeter disc as well as braking assembly. We do have the same 10-inch by 3.15 inch tires up front. The only downside here is those front wheels aren't split rims, and so changing those out will be a little more involved than the rear, but as long as you've got some tire spoons and some patience, you'll be able to get that swapped right out. And of course, this is a single motor scooter, so no motor up front. Now, as we work our way up, you will see we have our headlight assembly here, which is very bright. I'll show you what that looks like here later on in the video. But it does have a heat sink on it to keep it from heating up. It is angle adjustable, but it is a piece of metal that you bend to set the appropriate angle. So I would basically set it and forget it. I wouldn't be bending on this too much. As we work our way further up, we do have our folding assembly and latching assembly here. So with this, you simply unscrew this. And on the other side here, we have a safety pin. And when you pull this pin, you can actually fold this down and latch it to the rear of the deck. You actually have a metal bar where this hooking assembly hooks right into. Now, this is the exact same folding mechanism that we see on the Ausom Gallop. And based on my experience, it is very robust. It inspires a lot of confidence when riding at higher speeds, especially over, uneven terrain. And if you were curious, that is what the Ausom Gallop looks like in its fully folded position. As we work our way up the stem here, you'll see we've got some awesome branding as well as various adjustment points because this handlebar is fully adjustable. So the nice thing about the Ausom Leopard is that it accommodates riders of various heights. It also comes with a full seat with a suspension seat post, which actually bolts onto these 4 bolt holes here at the rear of the scooter. So if you're interested in a seated scooter, the Ausom Leopard does it all. So working our way further up the stem, you'll see where our internally routed cables emerge from the stem assembly. Just above that, you'll see the hook for the folding mechanism on this scooter. It also doubles as a way to, hang something off of there while you're riding. And then just above that, we have got our 4-inch screen, which is the same screen that we see on the Ausom Gallop. Now, looking at the controls on this scooter, we have our on and off switch here for our headlights and tail lights. We've also got turn signals, which are switch activated here. So if you want to go left, move it to the left. You want to go right, move it to the right. And then of course we've got our horn, which sounds like this. And just behind all those controls, of course, are going to be the manual brake levers, which feel really nice. We'll definitely be putting those to the test. On the right-hand side of the handlebars, we do have our key, which is absolutely required to ride this scooter. You've got to turn in the on position and then push and hold the power button to turn the scooter on. This is our thumb throttle, which is very responsive, has a very nice feel to it. And then, of course, we've got our grips. Now, these are not locking grips. I would have loved to see locking grips on here. So these do twist around, especially on hot days. Anyways, maybe in the future we can see some locking grips on this scooter. And then of course we've got our brake levers here on the right. Now this power button is a multi-function button, so when you press and hold it, it'll of course turn the scooter on and off. If you also triple press it, that'll take you into the advanced settings mode, which we'll go into later. And then of course when you single press this while riding, it will switch between one of 3 speed modes. Speed mode 1 will take you about 9 miles an hour, speed mode 2 will take you about 22 miles an hour, and speed mode 3 will take you upwards of 34 miles per hour. In terms of weight, without the seat assembly, the Ausom Leopard weighs in at 61.6 pounds, and with the seat assembly weighs in at 67.7 pounds. In terms of rider weight, the Ausom Leopard does support riders up to 265 pounds, or approximately 120 kilograms. And if you were curious, the Ausom Leopard is also IP54 rated, which means it can take some light splashes. So if you're going to be riding around in some light rain, you should be perfectly fine. All right, so now that we've gone over all the features of the Ausom Leopard, let's jump into our end-to-end testing. All right, so today we're going to be doing a top speed and an acceleration test with the Ausom Leopard. Ausom does claim that this scooter will go upwards of 34 miles an hour in ideal conditions. It also has a 1,000 watt motor that's capable of cranking out up to 25 Newton meters of torque. So let's see what the top speed as well as acceleration are on the Ausom Leopard. All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see where we ended up. All right, looks like on that run we hit a top speed of 27 miles an hour in about 21 seconds. We hit 20 miles an hour in 8.92 seconds, 10 miles an hour in 2.68 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and do it again in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so on that run, we hit a top speed of 29 miles an hour in 27.22 seconds. We hit 20 miles an hour in 8.92 seconds and 10 miles an hour in 2.73 seconds. All right, so there you have it. That was our top speed and acceleration test. I'll go ahead and throw the average results on the screen. Now, one really important thing to keep in mind is that when manufacturers do their benchmark testing, you know, for their baseline stats, it's always under ideal conditions. So for example, a rider that's 165 pounds on a windless day, on completely flat ground with minimum stop and go, and you know, if you deviate from any of those stats, you will have different results. For example, for this test, I weigh in at 204 pounds, which is considerably heavier than the 165 to 175 pounds that manufacturers usually test with to come up with their performance figures. So if you weigh less than me, you'll absolutely be able to get more speed, more acceleration out of it. If you weigh more than me, you're going to get less with regards to those stats. So something to keep in mind. But you know, overall, so far, if you're looking at like commuter scooter budget and aren't too concerned with weight, the Ausom Leopard is a really good contender because it's got very, very robust suspension. It's got very respectable stats. And so, you know, definitely something to consider, you know, if you're looking at something to buy to cruise around town, get to work, whatever it might be. Now, if you're curious about the braking performance on this scooter, it does have dual disc brakes. They are not hydraulic, they are manual disc brakes, but we'll go ahead and give them a try here in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, that is absolutely solid braking performance. So that is one area that this scooter definitely excels very well, is in getting you to a stop, and we did that from about 25 miles an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and get us turned around, and we're going to try that one more time. All right, we're at about 25, 26, 27 miles an hour. We're going to test our brakes in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah, this scooter has absolutely fantastic brakes. I would say I was depressing those brake handles by about 70%, wasn't even 100%. So if you're concerned about brake performance, you absolutely don't have to be on this scooter because you've got more than enough braking power. Now, I've got to say that that was probably one of the best braking performances I've ever experienced on an electric scooter. You know, yes, the dual, you know, disc brakes are super, super effective, but we've also got that electronic brake in the rear motor that I currently have set to level 3 out of 5. So we have even more braking power, but I'll tell you what, I'm definitely not going to need it. All right, so today we're going to be testing some of the hill climbability of the Ausom Leopard. Now, normally we'd be going up to South Mountain Regional Park, but unfortunately they had a pretty big fire break out overnight, and so that area is closed right now. All right, so for today's test, we're going to see if the Ausom Leopard can make it up this parking garage ramp. It is approximately 7 degrees or 12.5% grade, and that 12.5% grade is going to be greater than anything that we rode up while going up South Mountain. So I think this will be a great test for this scooter's hill climbability. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. All right, 12.5% grade. We're still cruising along, 11 miles an hour. And we made it up, no problem at all. And as I've mentioned before, this scooter does have exceptionally strong brakes. And we'll test those out now. Yep. Lots and lots of braking power. A little squeaky, they are disc brakes, but yesterday we drove through a lot of little off-road areas, so there's probably dust on those discs. All right, folks, so there you have it. That was our mini hill climb test with the Ausom Leopard. So over 12% grade or 7 degrees. Not a problem at all whatsoever. Now, if you are curious how this does off the beaten path, we got a little area we can ride around on here. Handles hard packed dirt very well. No problems at all. So this is hard packed dirt with gravel on top. And the suspension does surprisingly well at absorbing it all. Little dirt area here again. All right. Went through some deep sand there. It really slowed us down. No problems. And here's some deeper gravel. Of course, as I mentioned, this scooter does have the 10-inch by 3-inch hybrid tires. So definitely designed for mixed purpose riding. And back on the beaten path. All right, so today we are doing a range test with the Ausom Leopard. Now, Ausom does claim this scooter will get upwards of 52 miles on a single charge. Now, it's important to remember that those are very theoretical numbers that are based on specific testing conditions. For example, rider weight, outdoor temperature, wind conditions, stop and go, so on and so forth. And so, you know, what you get in range is really dependent on your weight and all those other conditions. But anyways, we're gonna see what we can get. I think I'd be happy with around 30 miles of range, but of course we shall see. Now, we will be riding around today in mode 2 and mode 3. And of course, this scooter does have a 20.8 amp hour battery, so we've got about 998 watt hours of capacity on this 48 volt scooter. Now, it is going to be a hot day today. I think it's going to be about 112 degrees. It's currently 90 and it's almost 7 a.m. So it's definitely a hot start to the day. But anyways, yeah, I'll be checking in every 3 or 4 miles to give you a quick update as to where we are mileage wise on this range test. Now, one thing that's really nice about the Ausom Leopard is it is a full suspension scooter, so it's got coil springs in the front and the rear. So if you need to ride on or off the beaten path, that suspension should be able to handle most of the things that you throw at it. So overall, very comfortable, very plush suspension on this scooter. Now, unlike its bigger brother, the Ausom Gallop, the Ausom Leopard is a single motor scooter. So it's got a 1,000 nominal watt motor in the rear. All right, so we've officially crossed the 4 mile mark, and we've still got all bars remaining on the screen. And then looking at the volts, we're at about 52.6 volts on this battery. All right, so now we've got our pedestrian bridge, which would be a good little hill climb test for this scooter. All right. 18, 19 miles an hour, no problem at all. Made it up there, no issue. All right, got a little train track crossing here. Clear on the left, clear on the right. And yeah, very comfortable ride over those train tracks with this suspension. Now, one thing to call out about this Ausom Leopard is that it's got very good handling. It's, you know, very comfortable scooter to ride, you know. At no point do I feel like nervous, you know, riding this thing around. You know, even when riding over, you know, choppy, hard-packed dirt, you know, the handling on this scooter overall is fantastic. All right, so we just crossed the 13-mile mark. We've been riding for about 58 minutes. And looking at the voltage, we've officially started dipping into the 48 volt zone. And so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is get us turned around, and we will start heading back in the direction from whence we came. All right, here we go, right back up the pedestrian bridge. Got less than half battery now, so it's a little bit slower this time up. Looks like we're cruising along, 16 miles an hour. All right, and we made it to the top. All right, so we passed the 23-mile mark. We've been riding for about an hour and 34 minutes. Got about 46.5 volts left in the tank here. Right now I'm taking a little bit of a detour because in terms of range, we're doing a little bit better than expected. So working down some battery here, working in a little extra range before we get to where we started. We are officially at 32 miles on this ride. Voltage is just below 44 volts, and we've been riding for 2 hours, 8 minutes. All right, folks, so there you have it. That was our range test with the Ausom Leopard. We were able to squeeze out 35.05 miles on that ride with an average moving speed of 15.6 miles an hour and a max speed of 24.8 miles an hour. And we were riding for approximately 2 hours, 21 minutes with a total elevation gain of 535 feet. Now, one of the places that the Ausom Leopard really shines is going to be with its suspension. So this is, of course, a full suspension scooter. So we've got coil springs in the front as well as a coil spring in the rear. And all I can say is that this suspension is ultra plush with lots and lots of travel. So you should have more than enough suspension for riding both on and off the beaten path. So to showcase how the suspension works on the Ausom Leopard, I did take some slow motion video at around 240 frames per second to show you what that compression looks like with the front as well as rear coil springs. And all I can say is this scooter does a fantastic job of absorbing impact. So if you're going to be riding on less than ideal paved surfaces or off the beaten path, you shouldn't have any issues at all whatsoever. As for lighting, the Ausom Leopard does come with a full complement of lights. So you've got the powerful front headlight, you've got two forward-facing kind of amber colored lights that also double as your front turn signals. You've got some lighting along the sides of the deck, including two turn signals on either side. And then, of course, you've got your tail light and brake light combo. So overall, I would say that the lighting on this scooter is very good. Now, as always, I do recommend with most scooters that you get a third-party handlebar mounted light for extra forward and visibility to the sides, just in case anything runs out in front of you while you're riding at night at higher speeds. When it comes to modifying the settings on the Ausom Leopard, it's important to call out this is not an app-enabled scooter, so you can't download an app on your phone and connect to the scooter. What you can do, though, is access the advanced settings menu, also known as the P settings, and you can do that by triple-clicking the power button. And as you can see, that takes us straight into the P settings. Now, to go in and modify one of these settings, you can just push and hold the power button. You'll see it blink, and when you click on this, it'll switch. So P01 is for units of measure. It'll switch between miles an hour and kilometers an hour. And whatever you want to save, you just press and hold, and it saves. The next setting in here is P05, and that's for your cruise control. P06 is going to be kickstart settings. You can either enable or disable that. P07 is going to be the top speed setting, so you can modify the top speed. By default, it's set to 100%. P08 is going to be the sleep time, so how long it takes the scooter to fall asleep when not in use. The default value is 5 minutes. PA is going to be the start strength, basically the starting torque on the scooter. And finally, PB is going to be the strength of the electronic brake. You can set it from 0 to 5. I definitely recommend going into this menu system and testing it out, seeing what settings work best for you. For me, my preferred settings are going to be maximum speed set to 100%, starting torque set to 100%, and brake strength set to 3 out of 5. So looking at all the things I just went over with the Ausom Leopard, here are the things that I love about this scooter. Number one on my list has got to be the suspension on the Leopard. It has got a lot of travel, and those front and rear coil springs do a very good job of dampening impact both on and off the road. So if you're going to be riding on less than ideal paved surfaces as well as off the beaten path, you should have plenty of suspension travel to handle anything that you throw at it. Number two on my list has got to be the brakes, and although this scooter doesn't come with hydraulic brakes, the manual brakes in conjunction with the front and rear discs as well as the electronic braking provide more than sufficient stopping power. Number three on my list is going to be the arrangement of the controls on this scooter. They're all within reach of my thumbs, no removing my hands to change a setting while riding. Number four is going to be the range. I was able to get over 35 miles of range on a single charge, which is very impressive, especially considering the price tag on this scooter, which as of recording this video is under $800. So now that we've gone over the things that I love about the Leopard, let's go over some areas that I think could use some improvement. Number one on my list is going to be the charging time. Now, the Ausom Leopard does come with a 20.8 amp hour battery, so it is a very large battery, especially for the price tag. With the 2 amp charger, it takes about 10 hours to charge from fully depleted to 100%. So that's something to keep in mind with this scooter. You're not going to have a quick turnaround on charging time. It's going to take about 10 hours to get that thing charged up. Number two, with this size scooter, I would have loved to see some locking grips. You know, when riding around on especially hot days, those grips do twist around a bit. So in future iterations of this scooter, locking grips would be a huge plus. And finally, number three on my list of things that I think can use some improvement is going to be the fact that I can't reach the advertised speed of 34 miles an hour. Now, this scooter does have a rider capacity of up to 265 pounds. Me weighing in at 204 pounds, I was hoping I could at least reach, 30, 31 miles an hour. But in my speed and acceleration test using the Draggy performance monitor, the fastest I was able to attain was 29 miles an hour. So if you're going to be on the lighter side, less than 204 pounds, you'll absolutely be able to get higher speeds. But if you're on the heavier side, you might not be able to reach those advertised speeds. So bringing it all together, who is the Ausom Leopard right for? Well, if you're in the market for a scooter that gets 30 plus miles of real world range, has a robust suspension, and won't break the bank, the Ausom Leopard is definitely something to consider. It's probably one of the most competitively priced scooters on the market today, especially considering what you get for the money. Now, if you do decide you want to purchase the Ausom Leopard, I will include some links as well as coupon codes in the description below. And if you use those to purchase your scooter, it does help support this channel. Actually helps keep the wheels moving on future reviews. Now, let me know if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns in the comment section below. Happy to answer those. And as always, thank you so much for tuning into Tom's Gadget Garage. We'll see you next time.